Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla coming back to ya with another episode of Car Rides with Schla. Wait, what? Yeah. Wait, sorry. Yeah, and today, um, yeah, I'd want to be the bearer of good news, but again, there's more turmoil going on that I have to sift through, figure out, and understand, and just more stress. I feel like, I'm doing a lot to try to stick it out and stick through things. And I don't know, I've just been dealing with a lot, you know. And since I've been doing this show, it keeps getting harder for me, to deal with what I've been dealing with. So, fortunately, I got out of work just when I wanted to. That was kind of nice because I wasn't sure if I was going to get to do that or not, but I did. And yeah, but I just don't know, like, I mean, my life really, and I've been saying this for months, and that really lets you know how crazy my situation is. I mean, my situation is just that unstable, and like I just don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next. It's just extremely unpredictable. So it's a shame because, you know, you would think with the amount of effort and time and energy that I've invested into things that the people around me would see that and think something about it, but that's just not what I've experienced, sadly. Again, I'm not entirely sure why or how some people can do the things they do, how they have the conscious for it, I guess, but it's not really anything different from any other kind of things I've dealt with or I care about, or not care about, but just things that I've dealt with in my life. But yeah, I mean, it's really getting to the point where um it's just affecting my personal life in a very significant way. I'm hoping too, as I'm realizing this, that it's capturing the correct microphone, because for some reason there's like indication that it isn't, but no, actually it probably is just picking it up pretty quiet, because yeah, we're probably fine. I don't know, the app, it just looked a little funky in the app, but everything appears to be fine and working and recording. I don't know that, I mean, the transcript came through okay, but the thing is, I never actually tested whether it's working correctly on this phone. The car rides, at least. I mean, I know I heard the walk switch law and they sounded fine, but I don't think I've ever listened to a car ride. So I won't be too disappointed about this one because, again, for this episode, like, I don't really think I'm gonna have too much to say. I'm I've really just been put through a lot, you know, and it messes you up. It messes up your ability to do stuff and just to, enjoy life and everything. I mean, it's very difficult. It's sad. I just don't know. You know what I mean? I just don't know anymore. And I'm talking because I have to, but I kind of wonder what I would do. I'd probably be talking to myself directly about the situation, but I almost think like forcing myself to have the microphone on, and then that means like I can't just continue to obsess over what's going on. It's probably for the better. I mean, it could be a negative because it's kind of reducing the amount of time I'm able to process the situation, but at the same time, it is keeping my mind off of things, because I'm like kind of pressured and forced to try to think about something else. As difficult as that is for me, I think it's an important skill that I'm just going to have to learn, because throughout my life it's just always been that way. Like regardless of who the person was in my life, like I'm always just put into these situations where I have to wait. And I mean, it could be like an excessively long time, but it's just like waiting and waiting and waiting. Um, and I don't know. That's just always what it feels like. That's always what it's felt like. And that's what it's continuing to be, you know? I just, but yeah, I mean, my resilience, I think, is just based on a lot of other factors in my life being smooth. My job, and even though, like, from my perspective, I kind of have like inconsistent energy and things like that, and I kind of have these like mood shifts and mood swings. I think compared to a lot of people, I'm actually relatively stable. I could be wrong about that, but I'm sure there's people who are worse than me. But, then again, like, my job is nice, and I'm grateful for that. It's kind of what helps you get through moments like these. It helps you get through it. And yeah, I'm just not, I'm not sure. I'm trying to keep pushing through, but I'm really getting tired, and I'm just getting like damaged. It's hard for me to calculate or understand whether it's worth it or not. I don't know. And that's why I'm saying, I mean, my life could really, really change drastically soon. I would hope it doesn't. I'm still hoping, still trying to have hope about things, but I don't know. Like you keep, I keep trying. I don't know what else to really do. It's just all like really, just a crazy situation. And that's kind of how my life's been. I mean, my life, I think you explained it to people, like they wouldn't believe it. They just wouldn't. They wouldn't see how it's possible, or they just wouldn't. And it's entirely understandable. I mean, I don't even know. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me a lot of the time. You know what I mean? And I think that's part of the problem, is just the things I go through, the experiences I go through. It's stuff that other people just wouldn't tolerate. They wouldn't receive. It's just like that, and it's a shame. I mean, it's really, really a shame that, um, you know, I've been put to the point that I'm at. But like I said, the fact that my job's been going well has really been so good for me. It's really what's gotten me through it. Sometimes I mean, I'm honestly like happier to be at work than I am to be at home, if I'm gonna be honest. I know it sounds weird, but it's just like, I don't know. I'm pretty happy to be at work. It's a break from what I have to deal with. And yeah, I mean, that's a pretty stunning admission, but it has to do with a worse than usual environment, and then a better than usual a worse than usual home environment and a better than usual work environment. And the conclusion from that equation is that, I actually prefer to be there. It's actually more calming for me. So it's kind of why it's upsetting that I can't get more hours, but hey, I mean, that sounds like a good thing, but let's be honest, it's really not. Because I say that, but like anybody, I'd rather be able to retire. It's not like I want to work, or if I could live a life without work, like anybody, I would. Because I feel like people may misconstrue that and just go, oh, this guy's got it great, and you might be envious or something. But no, it's really not like that. It's really not like that at all. It's actually just that's not really how things should be, and I feel that it does a good amount of damage to me. So, that's just kind of my 2 cents about it, but I feel like that's, it's not really a good thing. I mean, I guess the way I'm portraying it is good, but yeah, I'm really getting tired. Like I don't even know. I don't know. I'm just being broken, and I'm hoping that, at the end of it, I'm going to be able to emerge as a stronger person, as a tougher person, as a better person. I hope that this is all for some kind of a reason, but I don't know. You know, I think we might be crossing that threshold where it's just yeah, like I don't know. I'm just I'm still changing. And that's my main fear is at this point I'm not entirely sure if it's been changed for the better. That's really the main problem. And I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to look for some kind of sign and answer, but I just feel like I'm kind of in this intermission of sorts, and I don't like it. It hasn't been like a relaxing intermission. It's been like an intermission where, you're on a cliffhanger and you're honestly just trying to see the rest of the movie, but then there's like this 15 there's like let's say there's this 30-minute like weirdly long intermission, and you're just like not interested in waiting. Does that make sense? Like, it hasn't been like a good intermission where it's like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. Like, guess great. The intermission's over. Now I can finally go. It hasn't been like that type of a intermission. It's more of an intermission where like you don't have to go to the bathroom, you're not hungry, and you're curious to see how the rest of the show plays out. You're not just curious, you're like stressed. You're really invested with the plot. And that's kind of how it was like. I mean, 2024 was kind of a tease. I mean, I was put through a lot then, but things only really got worse in 2025. And now we're already to 2026, which I already thought 2026 was going to be more of like an intermission kind of year. It kind of will be. Like, I think it's going to be, sadly. Um, and yeah, I don't know. So I'm just unsure of so much. I'm unsure of so much, and really my whole life I've been seeking and looking for some kind of stability or consistency, and it just I've never really gotten it, you know. So I guess I just have to learn to really just let go. And I mean, I can't. I want things to be good, you know. I want things to be better for myself and the people in my life. I try to optimize and help people, but it just doesn't seem to pan out that way. You know, like it's like as much as I'm trying to do all that I do, other people don't. They they just don't. Not putting in the effort. It's all I really see from people. And you know, the truth is, I think to each person, they are trying their best. You know, I would hope that people are trying. You know, I've said it before, but you know, it's like, no, really, I don't know who would want to be lazy. I don't know who would want to be a criminal. You know, who would really want to be an outcast? I mean, you have to wonder, like, what happens to a person for them to get to that point. Because that's always like, it's always something I thought about. I mean, people criticize people. Oh, you're lazy. Oh, you shouldn't be lazy. It's not good to be lazy. But really, like, who would want to be lazy? Nobody. I mean, some people may say that because on the surface, it's kind of like sort of a, you know, some kind of a lighthearted joke, joking about being lazy. And but I think deep down at the core of a human, you know, a lot of people don't really think about it, but nobody in their right mind would ever want to be lazy or want to be a criminal. Or I mean, I guess you do have cases of people who, like, literally they do want to be criminals, and that is kind of what motivates them. But I don't, it just doesn't make any sense to me, because we kind of know that there's certain decisions or traits that are more favorable than others for, like, being a human. And obviously, like, if you have a brain where, you know, you get along with other people and you work well and you have a lot of energy, I mean, that's like a huge advantage, you know. And for someone who's lazy, it's kind of like, well, why are they lazy? Like, that doesn't even, it doesn't even usually make sense. You know, why nobody would want to be lazy. And so I oftentimes think, like, a lot of the mental health issues, you know, depression or anxiety, as much as people like to kind of downplay it, they like to joke about it. Well, some people don't, but some people definitely do joke about it. As much as that's the case, ultimately, it's just like you have to wonder why these things happen, you know? And it's confusing. It's baffling why these things happen. You know, it's like we don't really have the answers. And a lot of people just scoff at it. You know, people who are fine, a lot of people who have good lives like to criticize other people and what they go through. And I guess I've done the same to some extent because, of course, you know, a lot of the awareness and conclusions to things I've understood as mainly a result of a mostly stable household growing up, and in addition to that, a mind that is curious and hungers for knowledge and answers about these things, you know? I mean, that's just, it's a combination, because of course I could have been given the luxury of the life I was given and not. You know, I could have just taken advantage of it and just played video games, you know, but I always had this thing inside me where I wanted to know more, I wanted to be better, I wanted to do better, you know. It was always like that for me. And I could have abused my situation more. I could have abused my time more. I think similar to how a lot of people are, you know. But I didn't. And through one way or another, here I am. Like, it's just a crazy situation. But I think it's true. I mean, a lot of times on this show, I mean, it is lectury, but it's like, I don't know, I say it not to be mean, but because I genuinely feel like somebody has to say it. Does that make sense? Because I don't even like being mean. I don't. You know, it just doesn't, I don't really get amusement out of it. And when I'm in arguments with people, it's like, you know, insults and things. Like, I just don't really want to have to do that. I don't really get much out of it. And I honestly think that's why people tend to be like quite confused, because, you know, when I say stuff, it is from the kindness of my heart, or it's for the sake of accuracy. Like, I'm not getting anything out of talking down to people. I don't I don't know. Like, it's like at my core, it's just like I'm upset. I'm upset with the amount of people who are just not, it just, I don't know, like, I feel like I have this burden and I have to teach, like, I have to tell people things, but I just don't know how much I don't know how much more, like, I have a lot to say, I have a lot that's correct to say, but it's just like, given what I've been going through, life has beaten me down to the point where, you know, I don't know. I've always listened a lot too, but I think it's like the longer time goes on, I just, like, I don't even know. Like, I try so hard. I say the right things. I try to time everything perfect. I try to be reasonable. I try to be gentle with people, but, you know, I can't just not say certain things. I mean, there's certain things that are just, I mean, I shouldn't have to teach people. I shouldn't really have to tell people. It should be common sense kind of things, but a lot of people don't have that. I mean, there's things like I don't have common sense about. You know, like, I've made a lot of mistakes, mainly to do with being naive. That would be my big thing, just because, you know, with just the way I am, it's like I just can't imagine how low people stoop, and just the things people do. You know, revenge and all this, like, it's just it's very stressful. I think it's very, like, unusual and strange. And I think because myself, is just so different from others. I don't, I like, I guess I expect people to be maybe better, or maybe that's not the right word. It's like I expect, it's hard for me to understand like how low I have to have my expectations sometimes, because in my heart I don't want to hurt others, and it just seems like most people do in fact, like, they, I mean, they either directly do want to hurt you or they indirectly hurt you, and then they don't really, they're just not like accountable for that, or they don't really care, or they don't really mind or anything. I don't, I don't know. So I just, I mean, that's really where I'm coming from. It's just, maybe I'm tired of like being in that role. I want somebody to be able to give me some good information. I want somebody to give me a good lecture, give me some insight on a topic. But if I'm going to be honest, people basically never do. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but it's like people basically, they don't, when they try to give me advice, it's I can tell like it's something I've already thought of before, and it's not really something that will work. And then what do? Well, then the person's offended because the advice they gave you, you're rejecting it. But it's not like I'm rejecting it. It's like, I mean, I just know that that's not really going to help my problem. It's already something I've thought of myself, and then that causes issues because the problems I have, they're not really usual. They don't just have like these usual quick answers. I get satisfaction out of a system and seeing groups of people do well, more so than just like seeing myself do better or one person. Like, I just don't, I mean, it's great like when somebody wins the lottery, but when I hear about if somebody's winning the lottery, I'm just thinking about all the people who lost to get there, right? I mean, it's kind of sad, and in a lot of ways I feel like it's dirty money, but that's like an opinion you can't even, it's truth. It's the truth, but you got to be careful who you say it around, because a lot of people like the lottery. There's even a lot of casual players, and I don't know. And all the cardboard paper that goes to waste printing those tickets. I mean, those tickets are pretty like good quality. They're very bright and colorful, and they're very nice, high quality paper and stuff. I mean, it's pretty crazy to me. I don't know. That's just like personally, but um there's a lot of waste and cost with that for what's essentially just a tax on the poor. But again, I mean, this is like a real problem that has to be overcome, but I probably would get vilified for bringing it up. And, it's just like another thing I have to keep my mouth shut about. And there's a lot of other things like that where it's just like I can't, there's nobody I can really just speak my mind to, and you know, let's try to start to change some of these things about society and about the world. I just don't, I don't understand, you know. And I keep trying to do what I can to try to be like a influence for others, but I just don't know. You know, it's like, especially after everything I've been through now, I'm worried like I've been hardened, you know, I've been numbed out because there was really something about me that was special. There was something very nice and very good about just myself and everything, you know. It's like there was something so good. But I guess at some point maybe I had to grow up because I don't really know what else, right? I mean, you can't, I guess, as amazing as that was, the way I was before, I guess you can't stay that way forever. I guess it's just not, you know, you just can't. So yeah, you know, the tone's different. The tone's definitely different because when, and the episodes have been like this before. It's not the first time. And probably, like, if, you know, if I really had to guess, tomorrow's episodes could kind of be similar. I don't even know. Again, it's like I just record and I talk because I don't, it's just what I do. You know, it's kind of compulsive, but it's not a bad thing. It's just I don't really have anything else to do or anything like that. I just yeah, I just don't know. But it's a shame because I mean, I wonder who I would be if things were just like good. I mean, I'd feel good. I'd have a good life. But maybe that's just not like the point yet, at least. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping someday I could pull that off, but just very unsure of a lot right now. I guess I'm still relatively young and a lot of stuff just isn't really adding up or making sense to me yet, but I guess things make more sense now than they did, you know, after what I've been through. Like I've lived a little bit further. I've kind of had a better grapple on like reality in the world and stuff like that, you know. But you don't know. Like yeah, I mean I wonder what really would have been best for me, or you know, I still wonder that. You wonder, you think. I mean, I just don't. I'm just not sure. But I'm still here, trying to figure things out, trying to be reflective, and, just doing what I can, really. I'm trying. I'm definitely trying, but just don't know how or when things are really gonna pay off. I just have a hard time. I have a very hard time. Anyways, it's been schla, and now it's time to buy schla. So, see you schla.